exciting day for our baseball program. Obviously, this has been a long time coming. So appreciative of all the former coaches, head coaches, assistant coaches, all the former players. We've had over 1,000 people, as I mentioned earlier, to wear the University of Kentucky baseball jersey. All the student managers, equipment managers, strength coaches, everyone. This is a really big day for our program.
Could you explain a little bit about why it's so important in the SEC, which is terrific stadiums all over the place, for you guys to have something like this?
Sure. So this gives us an opportunity to actually, basically, when we bring our student athletes in, for them to see a facility where it's obviously going to be state of the art, it's brand new, and it just shows that there's been an investment on behalf of the University of Kentucky towards our baseball program. And you know what? When you're dealing with recruiting, especially 18 to 22-year-olds, families want to know that there's been an investment. And this is a huge, obviously, a huge investment for our program.
It was mentioned about you were here 11 years ago when there was talk of a new stadium and how the blueprints have kind of changed and changed again. How much, if you can remember from back then, did it start and how has it changed to now?
Well, it's like Mitch said, sometimes you just got to wait. And patience is not a thing that a lot of coaches, especially, we have, right? But I'm glad it's worked out. It's been, I'm sure it's changed multiple times, and I don't even know the exact amount of times it's changed. But the most important thing is the day's here. We just moved the dirt. We've basically thrown our hat over the ring. We're about to have one of the premier baseball stadiums in all of college baseball.
Timing is everything in baseball. Your timing's been pretty good here, hasn't it?
Oh, it has. My first year, I just roll up in here. We win the Southeastern Conference, and my family and everybody's thinking, Nick, it's you. I'm like, no. And then I roll up in here, in June, and then, shortly after, we're announcing we're in a brand new stadium. So the timing has been great, and there's no doubt this is where I'm supposed to be, and I'm right where I need to be.
What is going to be, for lack of a better term, what's going to be cool about this stadium? You've got some pretty cool stuff on the boards.
Well, one thing is it's going to be it's artificial turf, which will be really good for us. Obviously the last 2 days, the amount of water in our grounds crew and Marcus Dean and his staff have done to get off the surface to be able to play. But then also all the amenities for our student athletes. That's one thing I respect about Mitch so much is he's constantly trying to make things right for our student athletes. And what I mentioned earlier, it's going to have, you name indoor batting cages, pitching mounds. It's going to give us an opportunity for nutrition. The video is going to be unbelievable. And you know what? To be this close to the rest of the other student athletes is a really neat deal. And we've kind of, like we mentioned, we've created our own little village here, and it's something special.
You said in your opening comments or in your speech you made that this is going to be home for all the people who came before you. What did you mean by that?
Well, one thing, as you guys all know, I'm really into the family atmosphere, and that's something we've created, and it's in place. And, anytime there's change, it's hard. There's been a lot of people at Fagan Stadium. I mean, our baseball program's been around since 1896. I haven't been there the whole time, but it's been there for a while. And we want them to know that, hey, this is the place for them to come to. Even though this may not be the place they played in or they coached in, this is a place that we want them to call home and still continue to be a huge part of our program, as well as the fans. And if you want to have that family atmosphere, you want to create an opportunity where you want people to feel comfortable in a place, then I want them to know that this is all for them, and this is, for them, and it's their home as well.
How neat is it to see Coach Madison, get in there with you and throw a little bit? Because obviously, to be here and take the time to be here, and you mentioned the family atmosphere. There's that family atmosphere too that comes with the coaches as well. And I know that you're one of those guys that I still look up to what he was able to accomplish here.
No doubt. And you know what? I spend every Tuesday morning, we spend time together. He's a special man. And he and his wife, Sharon, they gave 25 years of their life. I want you to think about that. 25 years of their life to our baseball program. And think about all the lives they impacted, right? That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to impact the lives of young men. And he did it for 25 years. So he's definitely a huge part of this, and we want him to be right there in the forefront of it. So that was really neat.
John Cohen had, I'm sure he said, hey, we've got a stadium coming at some point. Gary said at some point. How much has it been a recruiting issue with the players?
So one thing I have not done is I haven't promised anyone a stadium when I first got here. And then once we made the announcement that we were breaking the ground, then it was going to happen. So there was no guarantees or promises. There was talks about it, but I did not want to go out until I knew for sure that this was going to happen. And just a few months ago is when we started to use this in recruiting because we knew it was going to happen at that time. So how much they used it, I have no idea, but I know that I did not promise anyone anything until I knew for sure it was happening, and obviously it's happening. So the whole world's going to know now.
Well, now you can tell recruits we did this just for that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
When the football stadium was renovated, there was a lot of talk about the fan experience. You talked a lot about what's in it for the players. Do you have any idea what's going to be in it for the fans?
Sure, there's going to be a club level, like I mentioned in concourse, to be able to go around the entire ballpark, right? There's some people, especially a lot of our parents, they like the pace. Right, it's hard to sit down for 9 straight innings, right? But no, they're going to have an opportunity to walk the entire ballpark. Like I said, it's going to be artificial turf. It's going to be beautiful. The berms are going to add a special touch. There will be opportunities for a club level where fans could go and enjoy that. So it's going to be something really special. And there are videos about to come out. I think we're about to release it here shortly if we haven't already. And it'll give you a really good feel of how special it's going to be.
We hear so much about it being a basketball state, but we all know it's a baseball state when you look at the guys and the talent that have come from this area. You mentioned Lexington and the surrounding counties being a part of that, and it has been in the past. How important will it be that, hey, this is your stadium as you're growing up too, and we want you to be a part of this program before you wear blue and white?
That's exactly right. And you know what? That's one thing to be able to recruit. Think about the amount of events we might be able to host here, whether it be camps or whatever, and getting kids from the time they're real little, from 5 years old up, coming to play on this field. We want it to be a place where that's where they want to call home one day, and no better way to do it with a brand new state-of-the-art facility. So that is right. Our 2006 team had 6 guys from Lexington on it, our SEC championship team. That's why our recruiting philosophy is to recruit from the inside out. And this is going to be a place for them to call home as well.
Nick, in regard to the series this weekend, how important is it for the team to get a couple wins, gain some momentum, keep going?
Yeah, it's really important. This is a really good team we're facing. As you guys all know, they played in the College World Series a year ago, and they got some key pieces back. Our guys, the thing I've been most proud of them is they've competed every game. There's not been a game where we have not competed, and I believe it goes in 3 phases. You got to compete first, then you got to teach them how to win, then you got to teach them how to deal with winning. And for me right now, we're on level 2. We're continuing to find ways to teach them how to win, and we're going to be challenged. There's no question. This is a team that's been ranked in the top 25, had huge draft picks, and I know their coaching staff are some of the best coaches in all of college baseball. So it's going to be a special test for us. Just finished up with a great practice. The guys are ready, they're focused, and look forward to competing.
What's been the biggest surprise the first 7 or 8 games of the season?
You know what? I haven't had a ton of surprises. Dealing with the Evan White injury was a little different. He tweaked his groin there, and to get him back.
Is he healthy? Is he fully
back
healthy?
He played first base yesterday. Felt great today. He said, looked me right in the eye and said, Coach, I feel great. We've obviously had to have a really good relationship. So the first 7 games, just how do you deal with that, right? You're talking about your All-American and you're basically your best player. Not to be there and miss 5 of the 7 games. That's been difficult, but what it's done is it's provided us an opportunity for other guys to play and step up. And one thing we keep talking to our guys about is just we want to keep learning. How important it is just to keep learning, and that goes to even in the classroom. It's like we just show up every day committed to competing and learning, and we've learned a lot with Evan going down.
Pitching wise, what have you learned?
Well, we got a bunch of guys that are pitching in roles that they've never pitched in before, in which we knew that prior, right? Sean Jelly was not a starter last year. Zach Logue did not start on the weekends. And Justin Lewis pitched on the back end of our bullpen. And we're starting a freshman in the midweek, right, with Zach Thompson, who threw yesterday. So we're continuing to get them adjusted, and it takes time, right? It's like anytime you do anything new for anybody, it doesn't just happen. It's not just magic. So they're adjusting to their roles. We're continuing to get better. I've been really proud of our bullpen, the way our bullpen has thrown the last 2 days.
So this will be, after this weekend, you will have played half of your games against ranked opponents. Is that going to be the scheduling philosophy going forward, or is that just sort of an anomaly this year? Or what do you think about it?
Well, this year especially because we had so many guys back positionally. That was really important. We had some guys that have pitched before, but maybe not in certain roles. So I think next year our schedule at the beginning of the year will look a little different. But that was a plan of ours too, especially for me. I just believe in order to find out about somebody, you got to test them. And we obviously have a very difficult schedule. A lot of it was in place prior to me coming, but the opening weekend and some other things we were able to move around and adjust. But I believe that's how you find out about people. If you put them in tough situations, you force them to compete and you learn, and that's what we're doing.